Ladies and gentlemen, let's ReGaming.com video. Phil Spencer has said that we can absolutely count on Microsoft to invest in games for the PC. And indeed, he believes that Windows 10 will be the best operating system, both for games and developers. So, to start out, he said, and I quote, "We weren't fully committed as a company, and I've said that before. We made commitments to developers and consumers that I didn't feel we lived up to." No shit. The key difference now is that the Xbox team is driving the Windows and console gaming efforts as one connected ecosystem. I can tell you definitely that our team has never committed more resources to making Windows better for games developers and gamers, and that means any game on Windows 10, regardless of storefront or device. Windows is the most popular platform for the games in the world, and we are committed to doing more. Xbox needs to deliver meaningful, measurable improvements for games and gamers, both for existing games and services and titles. So what about first-party titles, huh? The charter of Microsoft Studios is to develop games that will showcase the best of every Windows device. You can absolutely count on us to invest in games for the PC. While we want to break down the walls between platforms, we also know that certain games are optimized for certain devices. I can kind of see where he's going there. I mean, RTS games aren't so ideal, I guess, for, let's say, an Xbox, but even so, what about Halo? What about Halo for the PC? Well, don't count it out. He said there's definitely a legacy there, so no, we won't rule out more Halo coming to the PC. Now, do remember that Microsoft will have an on-stage presence for the first PC gaming show, which of course will be taking place at E3 later on this month. And supposedly, it will be totally devoted to gaming on the PC. Microsoft, of course, have also discussed heavily DirectX 12 and how it will work on the PC, but we do know that they certainly are going to discuss more, and Phil has already said that he's not going to take to the stage and say, hey, here's why you should buy an Xbox One, and then show loads of exclusive Xbox One games, because I think he'd probably get lynched at that point. But simultaneously, I mean, I've just been reading a little bit on the internet, you know, kind of trawling for a couple of forums, reading what people's opinions are, because I just was kind of interested, and I'm pretty much in the same boat as them. I'm not saying he is lying, that's the thing, and I actually have quite a lot of respect for Phil as an individual, because I think he's actually done really good stuff, really good things working for Microsoft, but how much of an emphasis Microsoft put on PC rather, is still down to debate. However, one of the reasons that I can kind of see why they wouldn't is because they really are in jeopardy now of actually risking some of their monopoly in the PC marketplace. Now, I know you might scoff, but just think about it for the moment. You've not just got DirectX, despite the fact that most of the media seems to be focused on DirectX. In reality, you've also got this little thing known as Vulkan, and Vulkan is really picking up industry support, and I know I said really like 15 trillion times there, but I'm trying to emphasize it. It's not just that, you know, AMD and Nvidia and a couple of other companies have put, you know, some quality time behind it. You've got companies such as Blizzard, Valve, who of course are developing Source 2 engine for it, and, you know, a massive bunch of companies that I'm not going to bother to reel the list off, but seriously, there are so many companies that are really supporting Vulkan, and it can support, function rather, over multiple different devices. So, if you're a pure PC gamer, you might argue, well, hey, I'll just play on a Steam machine. Or you could even say to yourself, I'm just going to dual boot, or I'll just run it as a virtual machine, or whatever the hell you want to do. In other words, you technically won't need to be locked in. And since engines now are going to be more diverse and are going to support, at least that's the theory, Vulkan. Remember, they do technically have some kind of similarities in terms of the code base. In other words, they are technically both derived from Mantle, with obviously some differences. It will be very interesting. Moving on, I would like to see something at the E3 show, and by something I would like to see news perhaps of a release of Tomb Raider, not necessarily on the day, So I'm not saying that Microsoft should release Xbox version of Tomb Raider on the same day as the PC version. I would like to, and many people would agree that, you know, that would be one way for them to show commitment. But, you know, even if it was like, hey, we get it, Xbox One owners get it exclusive for 3 months, and then it comes to the PC, what have you, that would be kind of cool. You know, I could deal with that. Microsoft, you know, could release certain games in the PC on the Xbox One for the Christmas period, which obviously would be kind of cool. But then it finally comes to the PC, and maybe it's got a little bit of extra DLC or something to say, hey, sorry, we know you've had to wait, but here's some better graphics, and here's, I don't know, some free DLC maps or something. I'm just using a pure example. As for Halo, I would actually really like to see it coming to the PC, to be honest. I played Halo 1 on the PC, and then I played Halo 2 on the Xbox, and I would like to see it. I think it would work quite well, and I think the online community would kind of embrace it, depending obviously on how Halo would evolve and all of that stuff. So yeah, Microsoft as a whole do have a lot of awesome technology, a lot of games, a lot of first-party games. And back in the day, of course, Microsoft now, you know, they've known of like the flight simulators, but back in the day, they were putting out a lot of games. Back in the 2000s, you've had titles like, let's see, MechWarrior. I have to admit, I quite like that. Of course, the Age of Empires series, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and God knows what else. And back in 2003, they finally unveiled Combat Evolved. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they've got. Maybe Gears of War, maybe seeing some remasters of Gears of War. That could also work. Remember, the original Gears of War did pop up on the PC. And a little FYI, just for those of you who don't know, there was actually a little bit of extra single-player content on it as well. Not massive amounts, but there is a little bit of extra single-player content. In other words, a little bit of extra story mode. So for those of you who want to play that, you should go ahead and try and pick up the damn game. It's quite difficult to get hold of now. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.